I know you can be overwhelmed and you can be underwhelmed, but can you ever just be whelmed? I think you can in Europe.
Welcome to the Whelmed podcast, brought to you by the 3 Bs in a pod, just 3 average uni students at Adelaide Uni.
Here on Whelmed, we'll be sharing our different experiences and takes on uni life and navigating adulthood.
And let me tell you, some days we're going to be overwhelmed, some days we're going to be underwhelmed. And here on this podcast, we believe that some days you can just be whelmed.
Now, we're not experts and we're not offering advice, but we're ready to share lots of good vibes, great laughs, and plenty of stories.
Hopefully our mistakes make you feel a lot better about yours. Before we go any further, here at the Whelmed podcast, we'd like to acknowledge that the land we meet on today is the traditional land of the Kaurna people and that we respect their spiritual relationship with their country. We also acknowledge the Kaurna people as the custodians of the Adelaide region and that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Kaurna people today. All right, so because this is the first episode, we should probably properly introduce ourselves so that everyone listening knows what we're up to.
So I'll go first. Hello, everyone. I'm Bhavya. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm currently doing an honours degree in health and med science.
I'm Bubby. My pronouns are also she, her, and I'm doing a business degree. And I know I'm not a finance bro. Okay, guys, I get it. No, I'm doing digital marketing and comms and management.
Woo.
Thank you.
I'm Belle. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm doing a double degree of law and advanced health and med science.
Very smart.
Thank you. All right, so how are you guys feeling today? Are you overwhelmed? Are you underwhelmed? Or are you just perfectly whelmed?
I'm going to have to say I'm definitely like 97.5% overwhelmed. There's a little part of me just, chilling. No, I've like uni and work and just things I've been putting off. So I'm very busy.
What about you, Bhavya?
I would say I'm also overwhelmed.
Okay.
Maybe not as much as Bubby. But I had placement the whole week and work on top of that and just other social things that I had to get around to. So it's been a busy week.
Now I feel bad saying that I feel pretty whelmed. No. You guys are very overwhelmed. And I'm like, oh, well, look, the sun was shining today. Like the blue skies are out. It's pretty good.
No, I think it's good if at least one of us is feeling well.
That's the state we achieve to be.
Yeah. Okay.
And for all our listeners out there, how are you guys feeling today? Are you feeling overwhelmed, underwhelmed, perfectly whelmed?
Feel free to let us know how you're feeling, any thoughts, ideas, comments, questions on our socials. We're at whelmed.pod on Instagram and at whelmed on Facebook, YouTube, and on our website. And you can listen to all of our episodes as soon as they're released on either Spotify, Apple Music, or YouTube. Now, just to let you guys know how we actually interact with each other is that we're all very, very close friends from high school. I know it's a cliche for Adelaide, don't worry, but we've all taken up very different pathways, so we could, end up arguing with each other, who knows.
Yeah. We'll record it for the podcast.
But we're hopefully going to stay in contact with each other as our pathways branch out.
Yeah, so we all started uni in 2020, which, of course, as everyone knows, was the first COVID year. But even without COVID, there was also always going to be changes heading into uni. But we just think that COVID really threw a whole lot more at everyone.
Yeah.
I think even without COVID, just talking about moving from high school to uni, one of the biggest surprises for me, I think, and it was a good surprise, was the stereotype when you're in high school and in the movies and the teachers are always like, the uni professors aren't going to care about you when you get to uni. So you're going to have to like step it up now. And I'm not going to care about you just so that you can like practice what it's like in uni. And then you get to uni and the professors really do care.
Yeah.
They're so nice. And like if you're asking them for an extension or if you're sick or if you don't understand something and you go and talk to them, they want to help you.
Yeah, that's true. Like I know most people, like, they don't really interact with their professors or tutors, and they just like go to class and then go home, and that's the extent of their interaction. However, like, I was literally like that. Like, that was my entire semester once, and right at the end I was failing. Like, I literally had like 49%, like 49%, and my lecturer messaged me and like emailed me, and he was literally like, if you do this one assignment, like right at the end, this extra thing, I will give you a pass or fail mark. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like,
Okay.
I know you didn't have to do that. You probably have hundreds of people in your course to like that might be failing or
My
so
professors
close.
aren't that nice. I take it back. They're not saving me from a fail if I'm failing.
I mean,
or
like, I
failing.
think there's a point where, like, it's probably in the guidelines or somewhere where, like, you're off by, like, 1 mark
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
give you that thing.
Yeah.
But shout out to Benito.
Yeah, I had a professor who was a lecturer in my course. I sent her an email at one point because I didn't know whether I wanted to do medicine or research. And she sent back this really, really long email and was really nice. And she just explained all the different ways that you could take and which path she went down. And I was like, that's the nicest email that someone sent to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lesson of the day, reach out to your professors.
Yes.
Yeah, and even your tutors, like, they are so nice, mostly because they're normally just PhD students or like postgrad students who have just decided to do tutoring as well.
Yeah.
And they're very chill, very helpful. Yeah.
Yes. One of my tutors for a prac a couple of years ago is actually working with my supervisor in our lab. And it's so weird to see because I used to see all these people as like my tutors and like people who are supporting the pracs and lecturers. But once you actually sort of step out of that and start working with them, it's a completely different experience.
I know it's weird, right? Like they're just people.
Yeah.
But you don't quite realize
They're
it.
not just people.
It's like seeing a teacher outside of school, and now it's like uni professors in not lecturing roles, and
Yeah.
it's strange.
Yeah, that is strange. Very odd. I would put the whole stepping out of school thing and into adult shoes like as being very wonky. So on one side, it's like life on your terms. You have to do, like, you're responsible for yourself, and that gives you so much freedom and independence. But on the other hand, like, actually managing yourself and being responsible for yourself is like the worst thing ever.
Oh, I know.
It's awful. Like, you live alone. You're responsible for yourself.
Yeah.
Everything.
No.
How's that?
We'll chat about this in a later episode, talking about moving out and things like that. But yeah, my family lives in Singapore, so I am by myself in Adelaide in a share house, so I'm not really by myself. And yeah, it was a big jump, I think, especially with COVID, because I moved to uni thinking that I was going to like have more support than I did, because COVID happened in like March of 2020 and we had like 2 to 4 weeks of normal uni.
Yeah,
I always say 2 weeks, but I think it's a little bit longer.
it was. Well, I'm sure most of you will remember that most of the unis went online faster than Adelaide Uni did. So we had a couple of extra weeks to enjoy our campus life.
Oh, I know. I'm talking to friends at Flinders and UniSA, and they were like, yeah, it's all online. And we were still out here fighting for our lives.
Yeah. Still remember the memes.
Yeah. But COVID really, sorry to everyone out there for talking about COVID, because I'm sure that everyone's sick of it by now,
Yeah.
but it did have such a big impact on us because we were literally starting uni in the COVID year. And so like we didn't get to make proper friends and things like that, because how do you make friends in your tutorials, in your lectures, if everything's on Zoom?
Yeah.
No one talks in a breakout room.
Yeah.
Everyone has their screens turned off, so you don't even know who you're talking to sometimes. And then like you get to third year and you're like, oh, it's that person who I didn't know was in my tute in first year.
Yeah. I'd honestly love to know how people make proper friends in classes, because I don't think I've ever successfully done it. And I'm in fourth year now, and I've made friends at uni through clubs and things like that.
Yeah.
But like you're friendly with them in the tube and you like smile and wave and you sit next to them, and then as soon as you leave it's like, oh, okay, bye.
Yeah, it's not one of those friends who you see outside of uni. It's just a uni friend. Yeah, no, I have the same issue, and if anyone actually knows a secret to making friends, please let me know. I think a little part of it is just like my ability to socialize, which I am lacking in, but we'll blame COVID.
I think one way I found was good for making friends, even though I don't have many uni friends, I have like a handful. I would say like group assignments were the best way to go about it.
Oh no.
Oh no, that's the worst.
Don't get me started.
Oh my God, the group assignment. Every single course.
I've had my fair share of bad group assignments, but I've also had my fair share of good group assignments, because sometimes it was the actual assignment that we all hated and we sort of bonded over that.
Like bond through trauma.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like last year.
It's always on a scale. It's either like okay, and then it's bad.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's no good end though.
I mean, I have a close friend who I met through uni, and we were in a group for our research project last year.
Yeah.
And we all hated the group assignment because we weren't getting as much support. So I think because we didn't have that support, we all sort of bonded. So that's how like we all became friends out of it. Yeah.
That's good. I can't relate, but
It's rare, but it can happen. So hopefully it'll happen to somebody.
Oh, you want them to trauma bond. That's what I'm hearing. No, but also COVID, like going online and stuff, I lost all motivation. Like to do anything with like work. My workload was super duper easy. Like I was doing nothing basically. I literally had to turn up to my tutes and lectures, and that was about all. Like first year, okay, look, I'm generalizing over most degrees, but first year, most of it's very introductory. But then you actually, as we were talking about before, you're responsible for yourself. So you literally, like, no one's going to force you to show up. It's not like high school where they call your parents or you're like, where were you for this class? Why were you missing? Why are you late? I still have traumatic memories of like turning up to late every day for a week and just
in high school?
Yeah, embarrassment of like walking in and they're like, oh, you're late again. Like, what was your reason? I used to, don't do this, but I used to forge notes from my parents because I was like, I'm just late. Like, public transport is just late. What am I meant to do? Like, I don't control the buses. Anyway, so the point is, in uni, I was like, oh, this is chill. If I'm late, I'm just like late. There's no one to like shame me for it. Except I shame me for it because sometimes I just don't go to a tute and there's like no consequences. Except I'm just behind. And so it's like that whole work ethic and motivation. I think COVID really kind of screwed that over for me, but also it's a whole like new skill to learn as well if you didn't already have it in high school, which I obviously didn't.
I kind of like it though. I do like the freedom.
Yeah, but it is a double-edged sword.
It is a double-edged sword. I think also because I feel like when I was with you guys in high school, I had more freedom than my high school in Singapore. And then so I felt more caged in and I just couldn't wait to get out of the place. And then I came to uni and it's nice people treating you like you know what you're doing. Obviously that means that like if you make a mistake, it's on you and you can't blame it on anyone else. But I do love feeling like
Was your first year workload like very hard, like coming from year 12 to uni?
I did IB, like I did the International Baccalaureate.
Nerd.
In year 12, well in year 11 and 12, and people who know the IB know that it's rigorous. It's pretty rigorous. And so even if I hadn't done like a lot of the lecture content in year 11 and 12, I'd done something pretty similar and I was used to a lot higher workload to get a good grade than I needed when I got to uni. Like I was coming home after school in year 11 and 12 and like studying for several hours a day after school.
Wow.
And then you get to uni and first year uni and I just didn't need to do that and I was still getting decent grades. Which is quite a nice shock for the social social situation. I got to go out and have lots of fun.
Yeah, we all saw that.
Wasn't so great for the work ethic now because
Yeah.
I've realised that I actually have to start working properly, and I've had to say no to some social things, which has been quite sad. Not used to saying no, but yeah.
I mean, I did the IB as well, and I can attest to like having to study for so many hours after coming home, which is not fun, but it does prepare you for, I guess, the stress that comes with uni.
Yeah, I felt very well prepared for uni. Just in terms of like managing time and being able to study and stuff like that.
I think that's good. I mean, like, I'm on the complete other end of the spectrum.
Okay.
I don't know how to study. And I've been forced in situations where I've had to learn, but the lesson has not stuck yet because I still don't study and I still leave things to the last minute. But for all of those who are either starting uni, already in uni, like almost finished uni and stuff, like it's always, I know when you get to uni and you're like, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought. I think that's the general consensus coming straight from year 12 where everything was so full on, and your teachers and parents and peers, everything was so full on. And then first year of uni is like a nice little step away from that. But then you never learn. So if you don't get actually learn how you learn or how to manage your time or like just start those good study habits. I know this is a very, very overdone advice, but it's actually true. Like I still don't have those skills and I suffer for every day, every minute of my life. Okay. So I'm telling you now, it's important.
But I do also think that like the level of study and the motivation to study comes down to whether or not you're enjoying the subject.
That's a big
As
part
well.
of it. Yeah.
Like I've definitely studied less for subjects I'm not enjoying because I'm not enjoying it. Like why would I spend my time doing something that I'm not enjoying?
Yeah.
That's
Obviously
so true.
because I'm paying for it. And my HECS debt is paying for it.
Yeah, your future self will thank you.
Yeah.
I think there is also a big difference between a lot of people. Like I know pretty much everyone I've met, everyone loves to learn, but that's a different thing to studying. Like you may love your subjects, your courses, the content, but it's just so hard for you to sit down and like study or like memorize or do the assignments or tests or whatever. You love learning, but you don't love studying.
Yeah.
I love that aspect of uni. Like the talking about ideas and being like theoretical and what would happen if this happened
Yeah, so I know it hurts, but it's got to be done.
Yeah. And I think a tip for anyone that I've learned throughout uni, like I used to pour all my energy and time and effort into something, but at the end of the day, even if I'd spent like an hour rather than 3 hours on something, it would have gotten me the same result. So what a lot of people have been telling me, especially PhD students, they say like work smart, not hard. So like, yes, like sometimes you're going to have to do a lot of things, a lot of work for a particular course that you hate. But if you manage your time and prioritize like what tasks are more important and what's not as important, then you can find a way to sort of do that course without like overworking yourself.
Yeah. And yeah, I like say to myself all the time, like 10% of something is better than 0% of nothing. So like even if I fail the assignment, like I hand something up, I get a failing mark, in the end overall I will pass the course because I didn't just be like, oh, I won't hand up anything because it's like overdue and late and I'll get like I'll fail the assignment. But that extra little 10% pushes me over the finishing line. Yeah. So
that's a good lesson for life, really.
Yeah.
Not just uni.
Yeah, no, actually,
Just
it's actually a quote from, you know what, I read it online, like, it was on Instagram or something. It was like a screenshot of something else on Instagram.
Is it one of those things where, like, you see it on TikTok, but you don't want to say that you said it on TikTok?
No,
so you're like,
TikTok,
I read a newspaper article.
No, it was genuinely, I'm pretty sure it was a screenshot of, like, a Tumblr post posted on Instagram.
Oh, I think that someone else had said that you saw it on TikTok.
Okay, yeah, I saw it on TikTok. No, it was like just talking about how, like, even if you get up and you don't want to, you know, brush your teeth, take a shower, do laundry or whatever, literally just washing your face is better than not doing any of those, you know? Like, you don't have to do the whole entire thing. Just a little bit is better than, like, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you're listening to the Whelmed podcast. Hope you're feeling whelmed. I think something I would also love to chat about is, what did you think you were going to experience when you came to uni? Because like movies and stuff, and I know that a lot of them are Americanized and it's all college and things like that, but was it what you thought it was going to be?
Okay, I hate to say, like, I genuinely, at the end of year 12, I was just so glad to get out of high school that I didn't realize myself, I had subconsciously had expectations of uni, that when I got to uni and then COVID happened, I found myself disappointed. And then I was like, why am I disappointed? And I realized I had this image of uni in my head that I thought it was going to be about, which was pretty much 99% based on what the media has told me, like the Americanized version of like college and frats and sororities and like just campus life, where it was very much you make friends, you could even make lifelong friends, and you have those friendship groups where you just sit and hang around or like study or go to cafes and stuff together, or those like scenes in classrooms or lectures where like people discuss very controversial topics and you're throwing ideas out that like
That happens in law school. People do that. But
Oh, really? Well, I mean, we do it in our things, but it's not as like hyper realistic as it's shown in the media, where like you have a rival and frenemies and stuff that everybody knows who you are and what you
You're
think.
my rival.
Thanks, darling. So I didn't realize I had this image of what I wanted it to be like and what I wanted to do and experience in uni until I didn't get that first year experience. And then I felt let down and disappointed. And it is mainly because of like books and movies, and not even that, not even the fictionalized version. It's also because I have two older brothers who went to uni, and in my little teenage mind, I saw them going to like classes, like whatever classes they want. Like I would have to get ready and go to high school, and they would be still sleeping at home, or like I would know they're going out to hang out with friends, or my eldest brother got really into student leadership and that sort of thing, Stupol. And so I remember him being really busy with like campaigning and stuff. He used to have this banner in his room. Though this was like pretty much almost over a decade ago, so it was kind of a bit different then. But obviously just that like everything I've seen around and the way your siblings, I guess, act about uni, like they're all older and they have that independence, and then just uni in general, when people go study abroad or do like clubs and activities and stuff, and just the way they talk about it, no one really tells you, oh, the bad side, like, oh, this happens, there's all the negative. It's very romanticized.
That's the word.
That is the
Which isn't
word.
a bad thing.
Yeah, there's
It gets you
positive
excited
aspects.
for it. It probably just doesn't prepare you for the realistic. You actually have to sit down and study sometimes.
Yeah, it's still like education.
Yeah.
It's still an institute. Did you guys have a very rose-coloured look at uni as well?
I mean, okay, so the other day my brother actually started watching Pitch Perfect, and like I was just watching it with him and looking at how like everything is like a hyperbole there.
Yeah.
Like just the personalities and the whole student life aspect of it. And I was just wondering, how do these people actually have time to study? Like, they're always going to like a cappella competitions and stuff. And then when I came to uni, I was like, actually, this is way more study time that I have to put in than like stuff that I could be doing for clubs and things like that.
No, because Adelaide Uni does have a very good student life.
Yes.
And there's heaps of clubs and things like that. And I think if you wanted to, you could literally spend all your time in all the clubs doing everything like that.
Yeah.
But obviously it's not realistic, because then you're not at uni doing uni, you're just in a bunch of clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like no one ever talks about the realities of like, I don't know, for those who go to UNISA or Flinders, but or like because Adelaide Uni, well, the North Terrace campus is based in the city, most people use public transport to come in. And I, like, for public transport, it takes me an hour to get here. So it's just like an hour, 2 hours out of my day just to go back and forth. So that's just like part of it. It's like, you see people like driving in cars, or you're like, oh, I'll just go study at uni. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, it takes me an hour to get there. Like, I'm not just going to go study at uni or like meet with my friends there, because it takes time. And like just all those little realities. Yeah,
that's
going
a
to
big
uni.
new one for me this year, because moving out and being in a share house so that I have to catch public transport to get into uni, it's a bit sad, really. I no longer got my walk.
I know all of my friends, and by friends I mean Tara, will be saying, just get your license.
But you can't drive to uni, because where are you going to park?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Tara. Hey, you've reached the midpoint of our episode. This is a reminder to drink some water, stay hydrated. Hydration is sexy. I know you don't have your water bottle near you, so go get it. Also, have a bit of a stretch, walk around, dance a little. Now, back to the episode.
I think I definitely got more of the Americanized version of uni than you guys did, because I went to a residential college. But I also think that that's what I was expecting. Like, both my parents went to like residential colleges at Sydney Uni, and so I grew up with stories of them talking about their uni life intertwined with their college experiences. So then when I got to go to a college, it was what I was hoping for, which was quite nice. And college does have a reputation for being completely out of control, which is not. It's not.
I did want to bring it up myself,
but yeah, I got to have those, like you were talking about, just sitting around with random people and going to like cafes and those sorts of, just having people there to interact with, experience. But that's not really a uni experience. It's just...
but I think it's a lot the fact that when you come to uni, you think you'll make lots of new friends, and I'm sure people do, but because we live in Adelaide, which is literally so interconnected, intertwined, like everybody knows everybody, and you're like 6 degrees of separation away from anyone you meet. It's like everybody kind of already has fully formed friendship groups when you go to uni, and so it's really hard to just like squeeze in already to those groups.
Because I'm glad that I knew you guys coming back in, because I don't actually know what I would have done if I didn't. No, but seriously, like I joined clubs and things like that. I joined like the Law Review, which is great. Shout out to Adelaide Law Review.
Don't go watch Med Review. Go watch Law Review.
Watch Law Review. But I joined the Law Review, and they already all knew each other from high school. Which was fun, because they were all super welcoming and friendly. But
it's hard to like just break that barrier.
12 people in the cast, and like 6 of them went to the same high school. And I was like, oh, I forgot that Adelaide's like this.
Adelaide, like you meet someone and you find out like 3 weeks into the friendship that you have mutual friends, and your best friends, boyfriends, brothers, sisters, ex is their brother.
Don't date anyone in Adelaide.
Funny story. On my 21st birthday night, I found out one of my best friends' younger brother, like I invited her whole family, I love all of them, and her whole family rocked up, and my brother's girlfriend was there also helping out. And apparently she spots them as they come in, and she looks at my best friend's younger brother, let's call him,
just say best friend's younger brother.
Jake. Not his real name. And she spots him and she goes, oh my God, like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, what are you doing here? And apparently her little sister is dating my best friend's brother. So both of our siblings are dating siblings, like the other two siblings in the family.
Yeah, right.
And we're the other connection. So my older brother is dating the older sister of my best friend's brother's girlfriend. Okay, this sounds like very complicated, but it was
Everyone's
huge
dating everyone.
Yeah, it was a huge surprise. And I was like, oh, wow. Adelaide is that small. Like, it's tiny.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, coming to uni and having to make friends with people who are already friends was tricky.
Yeah.
I have friends who go to uni interstate and they all say like it's like they had a worse experience with COVID and everything making friends. So I think we're kind of lucky that we didn't get hit by COVID for that long. So we could still go out and like see people and have some sort of social interaction. Because one of my friends, he was in lockdown for months and they just had online uni for like a year and a half of his degree.
Well, they sent people home. Like I know that they shut some of the other interstate colleges and they just sent them home. They were like, leave.
Yeah. And then you just have to like fly back home with your stuff.
We were good with the social stuff. Do you guys remember that one weekend in COVID? Like we'd been in COVID and then they tried to open everything up and they stopped quarantine and they opened Hindley Street for one night, right? Because they were going to be like, oh, we'll open it and we'll keep it up, but everyone just has to wear masks while you're out at the clubs.
Yeah. I remember you were not allowed to you had to sit with a mask and I was like,
with a mask.
Why would you go out?
And no, but see, the thing is, I went out on that weekend and people weren't following the rules and there were police like raiding the clubs every like half an hour to check that people were wearing masks. And so then after that, they just went back into lockdown. They're like,
remember that little 3-day lockdown or something? And it was really funny because it was meant to be for longer, but we just did such a good job that they ended it early.
Okay.
And all the other states had to like stay in lockdown.
This at college, this was horrific because everyone thought that it was going to be for longer, right? And so then they thought they weren't going to be able to get home for a really long time. So people from interstate were like, all right, I have to leave and get over the border before midnight when the lockdown starts. So as soon as the lockdown was announced, I looked out my window. There were people running to their cars with arms full of clothing. Like they didn't even have time to put it into suitcases.
Oh my God.
They were running. The clothes were still on their hanger, running to their car to throw it in the car to drive so that they could get over the South Australian border before midnight.
No way. Yeah. And then like 3 days later, it was
and
like,
3 days later,
we're good.
It was fine.
Yeah. And they couldn't come back over, could they?
No, they couldn't come back.
Oh my gosh.
So.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I
mean, I didn't care because I couldn't leave the country.
Belle had nowhere to go.
No, man, no one loves me. Anyway.
So, just noting that all of you who may be listening, who are either at uni, not at uni, but we're all heading somewhere. To end the podcast today, we did a little bit of external research because...
women in STEM.
Yes. That we are. We are role models. Because if we're talking about beginnings, we want to know where people's journey started. So we decided to ask some people about their dreams.
We're women of the people. Yeah. And so the people's voices have to be heard.
Including ours, so we'll go first.
So you guys go first. What did you want to be when you grew up?
All right, so me personally, I used to watch a lot of TV shows on like Discovery and Nat Geo and stuff back in Sri Lanka because that's all the channels we had. Yeah. And I had a lot of...
Okay, first of all, hold up. Let me just interject and voice my own opinion on your dream here. Why were you not watching like Cartoon Network?
I was.
I literally just said that's all that there was to watch.
Yeah.
No, but like ABC 3 Kids, where were you?
No, she was in Sri Lanka.
Okay, yeah. But like they have their own
ABC
version.
is the Australian Broadcasting Network. They don't have that in Sri Lanka.
Okay, I do understand that, Belle. But I'm just imagining little Barbie just watching National Geographic.
Barbie, you've done your dream wrong. Barbie doesn't agree.
I know. You need a new dream. Sorry, go on.
Continuing.
Okay, to clarify, firstly, we did have Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, all of that, which I did watch. But then, like, sometimes when I got home after school, like, that's the only thing that was on TV. Which is to clarify.
Okay. Maybe she just liked it.
What?
I'm a little bit weird, okay? I like watching
You're not
her
weird.
treat.
You're not weird.
She's an alternative girl. She's not like other girls.
Manic pixie dream girl. Sorry, please continue.
So like, watching those TV shows, and then like mum used to like read like stuff from history books and things because mum is like that, and like that made me kind of interested in just archaeology. I wanted to go like dig up pharaohs in Egypt.
That is so cool though.
Yeah.
Lara Croft, Tomb Raider
Yeah,
style.
kind of, but maybe not like assassinating people or jumping off airplanes and stuff. That was a really long time ago, but I've always been interested in that kind of like science stuff. So in a way, I feel like I've come back to that doing science. So I guess from that, like I've gone through a lot of changes. Like I wanted to do international relations at some point. I wanted to, people from high school would know that for a brief moment I wanted to do film because I was like crazy in love with like watching movies and stuff. But I think the main takeaway is that your interests will always change. Like, and for us, like our careers might change. What we're studying now might be like, we might be doing completely different jobs 10 years down the track.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess to take away from everything I just said, it's okay like to change your mind about things. And sometimes you can end up right back where you started, really. So
Yeah, full circle.
What did you want to be, Bobby?
So, as a child, I set my heights very high. I wanted to be a chocolatier because I didn't think there was a cooler job than just tasting chocolate all day. That was my dream job.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Belle. No need to, you know, put me down for my dreams. No, like I just wanted to be a chocolate taster. Or I heard people who would like taste like, you know, those show bags at the Adelaide show, like the show bag
Quality
testers.
control.
Yeah. I was going to be quality control and I wanted to live my life eating good food. Okay, another dream of mine, I had multiple. Another dream of mine was going to be like food critic just so I could go to fancy restaurants and eat food.
anything to do with food, really.
Yeah, look, I knew what I wanted as a child and it was food and that has
got your
never
priorities
changed. Yeah, I was my priorities were correct. Like, what do you need to live? Food and water. And I just focused on those things. My survival instincts were strong. No, so I really wanted to basically be like something involved with food and eating it. And now I am nowhere near that, but I am still a huge foodie, so I do go out and eat a lot, which my bank account mourns. Okay, what about you, Belle? Impress me.
And maybe this is boring or cliche. I really, really, really wanted to be an author.
Aww. You had ambitions,
I was
didn't
the
you?
kid in primary school who would read in the library instead of going outside to play. Like, don't get me wrong, sometimes I went outside and played, but I just could not think of anything better than having a really cool study that has a really big window that looks out.
Oh, you thought you were going to be the next Roald Dahl, didn't you?
Yeah, I was going to be like a rich, well-off author with like a sick house and a really cool like library with the ladder, like the really
moving
tall
ladder.
bookshelves. Yeah,
Yes.
with the moving ladder. I'm one of those authors.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was writing books. I was world famous. Everyone knew who I was.
Oh my God, can you please bring an excerpt of something you've written as a child onto this podcast at some point? If anyone wants to hear Belle's stories
In a fire.
please let us know and we will make that a special episode.
But yeah, and like everyone always says go into law if you like debating.
Who has ever said, debate? I thought you were going to say writing and I was like, who has ever said that in their
like
life?
a reading thing. But you have to be good at structuring your arguments well in law. And I guess that's a form of writing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Have you like ever written anything these days? Like let your creative juices flow?
Yeah.
Like fictional novels, not for
Not for you.
uni or anything.
Because I am a writer on the law school magazine.
Yep, there it was. There was the plug. I was building up to it.
Everyone go read The Hilarion. It's really funny. I've dabbled. A little bit. It's all tucked away. I loved poetry, because little me was author, and then as I got bigger and I started learning musical instruments, I was like poetry, and then I was like songs. Ooh. I have 1,000,001 songs written down that no one will ever see.
No, Belle.
Yeah, I just think it's like a really nice way to show your emotions.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so your dreams, okay, so Barbie's dreams went kind of full circle.
Yeah, that's
in a way that you never would have thought of as a kid, but like you ended up there. My dreams,
you've still got them.
I always carry my dreams with me every time I walk past a restaurant. And Belle's dreams, you tucked yours away, so they're not gone.
They're still there.
They're still there.
If some publishing company showed up tomorrow and was like, here's a book deal, I would take it. Like, it'd still be super fun.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I don't know.
I guess, yeah, what I'm getting at is you might still have all your dreams even if you're doing something else. And I think in a way I like having my dreams as like dreams or passions or hobbies instead of making it my work or my life or my work life, my job.
Well, because they say that you should enjoy what you do and your work, so that going to work isn't a job, but it's something you enjoy. Yeah. But then on the flip side of that, there's always going to be days that you don't like what you're doing. It's inevitable. And so I guess if it is like your one huge dream that you're doing, the days that feel horrible could take away from that and make you question if it's actually a dream.
Yeah. I think also I don't want anything I like or enjoy doing or that is important to me to become what I consider work. Yeah. Like I don't want it to become an obligation or something that I have to do and I hate doing. And I know people love what they do.
Would you hate doing it if you loved doing it?
I think at some point, like, too much of anything is bad for you.
Yeah.
So, like, at some point, if I turn any of my dreams or passions into an actual job or work, I will end up hating it.
Yeah.
And I know...
It's a bit cynical.
Yeah, no, that is very cynical. But I know some people get into something they really love doing and they love doing it. And my brain doesn't work like that. Like I love films and movies, and at one point I wanted to be a filmmaker, but I did film and media studies in high school, and it just became like having to do assignments and getting great and like putting restrictions and like standards and grades and marks on it. I started hating it, and I was like, I don't want anything I do. So at that point I decided whatever I do in uni will be something I find interesting and like I could possibly do for the rest of my life, but not something I love that I will end up hating it.
But that's good that you can acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Because I'm quite an indecisive person, and I don't think that I could sit myself down and say that to myself and pick what I like but don't love, and so I'm happy to do, but love, and like I couldn't choose.
Yeah. But on the flip side, it means I don't do something, I'm not doing something I love for like most of my time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it works both ways. Like it works both ways. So who knows? You could love what you do and never get sick of it, or you could get sick of what you love, and so you have to do something else and only have like keep your hobbies as your hobbies instead of making it your job, you know, which we will cover more in one of our later episodes about hustle culture. So keep tuned. So stay tuned for that. Anything else we want to chat about?
I don't think so. I think I want to find out what the people of Adelaide Uni wanted to be.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Okay.
I am Matt, and I'm studying veterinary science at the Uni of Adelaide.
My name's Vivian, and I'm studying fashion design at Flinders.
My very first career choice was like fashion designing. Then somehow I was just like, I want to be a pilot.
Oh.
It was just so strange because like, I don't know, I just love going on airplanes. And I thought it was just like an exciting moment because like, you know, you're up in the air. But then, like when I was 16, I really wanted to do like skincare. And like, it was really weird.
Same.
Skincare, because like, I don't know.
I wanted to do dermatology.
Because like, I started getting acne. And I was like, oh, my skin is so young. I look so young. And I feel like high school pressures came in. It became like more of like a popularity thing. Like, I don't know. But then I was like, yeah, I want to do dermatology. And you know, like, when you're Asian, doctor, medicine, it's like, oh, maybe dermatology is going to be a good thing. Then I changed again, and I wanted to be a perfumer.
A what? A perfumer?
Yeah.
Is it called a perfume?
I don't even know, to be honest. But then I literally looked up, and I was like, oh, it's in France, you know. I'll never be able to go to France because like that's so much money. Then I started looking up in year 12 how I can get to France. And it was just like an exchange trip while doing like, you know, sciences and arts. Well, that's what I did for my first year of uni. I don't know, I took the first year to reflect on myself, really. And I was like, oh, maybe I didn't want to do this course.
Yeah, why are we the same?
I went into animal science for a year and I completely loved it.
Yeah.
And that's when I got into vet.
That's cool.
Honestly, I didn't know I would be a vet, to be honest.
I always, like from a young age, said I was going to be a fashion designer. Not even knowing what it really meant, like entailed, but I always just said that. And I kind of stuck with that for a while until I got into high school in like year 10. I was like, oh, I'm kind of good at science. So maybe I'll do health science or med science.
Yeah.
So I was kind of on that path. And then I love skincare, so I was exploring dermatology. But then I saw how long it takes to become a dermatologist. It's like, it was like ridiculous, like 15 years. So I said, I don't think I love it that much.
Yeah.
That's what I said as well. Here I am, but it's okay.
And then I applied for health science and med science at Flinders and got in, but then realized that I wanted to do fashion design. So I took the year off, did some self-reflecting. And that was during COVID. So, yeah.
I feel like you never really know what you're going to do
Yeah.
outside of high school, to be honest.
Well, because you don't really know yourself.
Hi, I'm Olivia and I wanted to be an actress/singer when I was little, and now I'm studying film and television.
Hi, my name is Lucy. When I was a kid, I wanted to study all different kinds of things, but what I've landed on is film and TV at TAFE, and I'm having a really great time.
Hi, I'm Sam. When I was younger, I was really obsessed with dinosaurs. So I was going to be a paleontologist. But then, as I got older, for some reason I picked law, and I don't know why I did that because that bit's really boring. But the history and global politics stuff was really fun and didn't make me as sad. So I'm now going to be studying archaeology because it's actually the history stuff that ends up being more interesting than the dinosaurs.
I remember vividly when I was doing a graduation speech in year 7, I said I wanted to be a neurosurgeon or an anesthesiologist.
For the money?
For the money.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what do you do now?
I'm doing occupational therapy.
It's like the same thing.
Yeah, kind of the same. Lots of money.
What about you?
I think I said I wanted to be like an engineer or something. I quickly, like, as soon as I was like year 8 in high school, I was like, I don't want to be an engineer.
Now he drives a forklift. What more can you want?
My name is Tommy. I'm currently studying teaching to become a teacher, but when I was younger, I had a lot of things in mind that I wanted to do. There were times I wanted to be a meteorologist studying the weather. Cool. There were times I wanted to be working in TV, working as a television presenter. And I kind of still do, but that's kind of dissipated a little bit considering our media is a bit fractured these days. It's a lot harder to get into the industry. Yeah. So I thought, well, what's something I'm good at? Well, I'm pretty good with working with children, and I like to think that I have built up a good knowledge bank. So I thought teaching is probably my thing, and that's what I'm doing right now. Although there was also a time in recent times that I had thought maybe I'd like to consider tilt in politics if I ever get a chance to. So that's dependent on how, like, you know, the political landscape changes as well. So it's a bit of a weird thing to think about. But yeah, I'm mainly otherwise just focusing on what I want to study and do is to be a teacher.
That's really cool.
Hi, I'm Asira, and my dream as a kid was to be a veterinarian. And now I am studying Bachelor's of Law.
Oh my God, really? You want to be a vet?
I did. And then I went to high school, did biology and all that, and I was like, nope, I could not survive this.
Thanks for listening in. As always, let us know on our socials what you thought, and we'll see you next time. So stay well.